Michael Shifter joins us now. He is president of the research group Inter-American Dialogue here in Washington. Thanks so much for joining our program today. According to Reuters, Latin America has become the region with the highest coronavirus death toll worldwide, with the most number of cases in Brazil, as we just reported, and Mexico. What, in your opinion, is to blame for this?
Well, I think in both of those cases, which are really truly tragic, what's happening, as we know from the figures, there has been a real absence of leadership. In fact, a resistance to recognize reality and deny or dismiss the gravity of this pandemic. And I think both President Bolsonaro and, to a lesser extent, but also President López Obrador in Mexico, have really not been responsible in getting advice and following advice from advisors and scientists and other health experts, which have recommended some very strict measures that haven't been adhered to. And I think that's what accounts for this explosion in cases in both of those countries. And I also think those countries have very deficient public services, very inadequate health systems, have tremendous disparities between the rich and the poor. So there are structural issues in addition to the lack of effective leadership from the top.
And you mentioned that inequality gap in many parts of Latin America. How might this COVID-19 situation exacerbate that growing gap?
Well, I think it's clear that those who are, in many countries in Latin America, take the example of Peru, informality is very, very significant, and 70% of the labor market in Peru is informal. So these people have no access to any kind of government assistance and compensation and the like. And so, to the extent that they have to go to quarantine and take strict measures, they are much more affected than those who are of the middle class or upper middle class, who can manage by working from home and doing other things to continue their work. The people who live in these informal economies, who by and large disproportionately poor, are going to suffer more, because they simply cannot accommodate and survive in this environment. Those who already have resources and are wealthy can manage much more effectively.
And given these staggering numbers, what do you think will be needed to turn this around?
I think the most important thing is to have better leadership, and hopefully there is a scenario that some people argue, I hope they're right, that the catastrophe that we're seeing in the region is going to force a rethinking of a lot of politicians who will realize that they have major problems that they need to be addressed. These problems that we've known about for a long time, informality, inequality, and simply serious structural problems, economic problems, and lack of investment in health and education. Perhaps this will be a wake-up call for people to begin to understand that Latin America, although some of the countries have performed well, is still highly vulnerable to this kind of pandemic shock that we've seen. I hope that's the case, but it's going to require leaders who understand what's at stake and who are prepared to make serious commitments for the future.
We have a very short time left, but I want to mention some other countries that are pitching in. China's one of them. It's donated millions of dollars in medical supplies and equipment to the region. How does this reflect this overall dynamic between China and Latin America, as well as China's overall investment in the region compared to some other countries like the United States?
Well, the United States has been completely absent, as far as I can tell, from in responding to this crisis in Latin America. There's been no serious plan for any kind of cooperation with the region in terms of sharing information, in terms of helping out, best practices, or coordination with resources. China has a presence Of course, China is an important actor in the region and has been for some time. It's the first or second trading partner for most countries in the region. And I think China has engaged in this what's called mask diplomacy, providing masks and in some cases ventilators to a lot of countries. And I think in this case, because the United States has just been missing, that China has been much more effective. And I think Latin American governments being pragmatic and just wanting to get some relief from this utter disaster are clearly welcome the Chinese support. But the United States, I think, has really been embarrassingly absent in this crisis.
Michael Shifter with the Inter-American Dialogue, thank you so much for sharing your perspective.